Okay, so as a word of warning about my speech today, I won't be questioning one of the oldest and most original of human errors, judging a book by its cover. I won't be criticizing or even addressing the idea of making decisions based on appearance. That topic is best left for another speaker and another day. Instead, the topic of my talk will be about the importance of reading books in the 21st century, judging books based on the paperback or physical cover they are found in. Now, to some, this may seem inappropriate, unprogressive, backward thinking even. But my aim here today will be to challenge and review the evolution of the written word and question whether its form is advancing too far. The codex form of paper-printed book that we are all so familiar with today dates back to the 15th century. So, for nearly 600 years, the main format of learning, creativity, inspiration, and escapism has remained unchanged, with authors such as William Shakespeare, Charles Darwin, and Charles Dickens, and J.K. Rowling at the forefront of creation through the handwritten word. But on the 19th of November, 2007, Amazon introduced the Kindle to the world, allowing global access to millions of books with the swipe of a finger or the push of a button, all in a format reduced to the size of one individual book. Now, to many, this seemed groundbreaking, but the ideals of a book were quickly lost. It allowed people to access books whenever they wanted and made purchasing them so much easier. But the physical properties of a book were quickly removed. So we live in the age of progression. We rush to the future, and we are forced to keep up with the ever-evolving society in which we live in. We live in the age of progression. The world is constantly evolving, and we rush to keep up. But in the immortal words of Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast. If you don't slow down and stop once in a while, you could miss it. And so paperbacks do exactly that. They provide a tangible reality, a pause in the age of progression, a step back from the digital world to place ourselves in the creation of the fictional lands of some of our most inspired minds. It allows a pause in the noise that smartphones are constantly preparing us for. Owning a book is key. Now, this seems obvious, mundane, but true ownership comes only from something that can't be lost. The act of buying and reading a book cannot be misplaced. Not like permanently renting it, as it may feel on your smartphone or a Kindle, but truly holding it in your hands. Words and stories began through speech, committed to memory, and passed down from generation to generation in an effort to preserve what was said before. Then they were committed to paper. But now the inventions of modernity threaten to revoke this beauty and instead replace it with plastic and metal. The true beauty of a book lies not only in its content, but also the experience it evokes upon the reader. It is a sensory experience, not replicated in modern technology. Throughout my life, a quote that has always stood strong with me has been, "The pen is mightier than the sword." It suggests that true power and influence stem from the beauty of language and the power of words as a force of good, far more so than any weapon. The sword represents not only the physical carnation of damage, but also the opposition to progress. However, in the 21st century, the threat has changed. I mean, how often does a sword pose a genuine threat on your life compared to that of the Middle Ages? In the 21st century, I believe a far more apt quote is, "The pen is mightier than the keyboard," because the threat we face today is in the lack of connection that a digital interface provides. Now, technology in its entirety is not the problem. I believe it does far more good than damage, and so I'm not going to go off topic on some tangent rant about why we all should stop texting and instead write letters to one another. No. However, the keyboard reflects the separation between the author and the reader. The keyboard and the screen lie separate. The pen and the paper lie together. And so, in the 21st century, we mustn't forget the traditions and the original format intended for us to enjoy stories. Now, at this point, I would like to make it very clear that I am pro-technology. I'm not criticizing or going against some of the advancements we are so lucky to have ingrained in our society. It's true, Kindles allow us access to millions of books, all at any point in time, at any place on the globe. They allow browsing and purchasing for these books so much easier. I can't and won't argue with that. But don't you think that a book should be a self-contained individual form, not contained to the size of a screen? Purchasing it should be a therapeutic process in itself, not rushed quickly at the tap of a button or the swipe of a finger. My final thought to leave you with today is this. When a species becomes endangered, we as a society act upon it through conservation programs and sponsoring. We support, as is our moral obligation to do so. We come together. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you this. Are books becoming an endangered species? Thank you.